Hey everybody, welcome back. This is when friends are more than mildly infuriating. Not the a-hole! Am I the a-hole? For leaving my best friend's wedding right before I was supposed to give a speech and texting her husband after the wedding, causing them to get a divorce. All rise for the Honorable Judge Charlotte. Thank you. Silence! Context! We shall set the scene. First, I have severe anxiety, so I take anxiety medicine to stop the panic attacks from happening. Second, when you're taking anxiety medicine for a long time, your body gets used to that normal feeling of not having anxiety. So when you stop taking it, your anxiety hits you like a truck.
And shove it right up your hairy...
I know this firsthand. You go through what is called withdrawal, my darling. Third, me and the bride and groom were childhood best friends, so they both wanted me to give a speech at the reception. A week before the wedding, my friend, let's call her Kate, puts everyone invited to the wedding into a group chat to say drugs weren't allowed at the wedding. This made sense to me because I know she has family that struggle with addiction, so I ignored it because obviously my medicine wasn't included in this rule, right? Fast forward to the wedding day, and I made sure to take my medication with me so I wouldn't make a scene at the wedding and actually do the speech I prepared. An hour later, Kate pulled me to the side and asked if I brought my medicine. I told her yes, of course, I couldn't do the speech without them. Kate.
Are you crazy? I said no drugs at my wedding, and that includes prescription medication.
You know I have anxiety.
Well, I thought you would suck it up for me. I'm your best friend.
Are you serious? You know that's not how it works.
It's my wedding. I thought you were better than my family.
After a few minutes of talking, I finally told her, fine, I'll get rid of them. I lied about doing so, but I can't do the speech then. She reluctantly accepted before walking away visibly upset. After a while of enjoying the wedding, I could feel my medicine wearing off, so I started hanging out in the background by the food table, far away from everyone.
You look lonely.
This is the thing with people, like, it kind of sounds like you have not only anxiety, but maybe like a little bit of panic disorder. If you have panic attacks all the time, it's really, really hard to control, like genuinely. And without medication, like I know someone who's very close to me who has panic disorder and really severe anxiety, and they cannot stop themselves from having a panic attack. Like any situation in which they are in a crowd of people or speaking in front of people, they get like really sweaty and they keep like in their head, they're like, everybody's staring at me and my sweat. And then it spirals into this like massive thing. And then they have a massive panic attack and then they have to essentially leave the room. And this affects them so much that they can't give a speech at my wedding. I get it. I understand. I want them to be comfortable. I'm sad about them not being able to speak at my wedding, but it's okay. I'm just happy that they're gonna be there. I just find it quite delulu that you have a medical condition and she's telling you not to take anything for it, something that you actually like need to function. Is she going around to all like the older people that have medication as well, or is it just you? 10 minutes before the speeches were about to start, she announces the names of people who were going to give the speeches. To my surprise, she still called out my name and even went as far as saying, my best friend Casper is going to give a speech first because she knows how much she means to me and the groom.
What the hell?
My heart started to pound out of my chest as people started to look at me, so I ran to the bathroom. Oh dear. Yeah, like I don't even have like I have anxiety, but I would freak out. She's putting you on the spot, man. I locked myself in the wheelchair stall and proceeded to have the worst panic attack I've had to this day. I managed to calm myself down enough to drive myself home after taking my meds, which was a 3-hour drive, mind you. When I got home, it was really late. I was sitting in my thoughts when I remembered the groom had a sister who struggled with mental health like I do. Interesting. I'm curious if she also had the same rules put on her. So I texted him about why I didn't do the speech and what Kate said to me about sucking it up, and a few other red flags I have ignored until now. As much as this was about me being petty, it was also about how I didn't want his sister to have to go through what I went through with Kate. Some part of me was worried, what if Kate forced his sister to do something without her medicine and she gets hurt? The very next afternoon, I get texts from her family that I'm close with that I'm an a-hole for leaving Kate when she needed me the most. Kate texted me later that night saying, "You always wanted him, didn't you?" How did we get from like, don't take your medication at my wedding to you're in love with my husband? The math ain't mathing. I asked her what she was talking about, and she told me that he had asked for a divorce. Oh, well, I mean, she just told the bride like information about her. This is the thing about gossip, right? This is the thing about gossip. This is the thing about talking shit about people. I'm not talking shit, I'm raising awareness. It ain't gossip if it's the truth. I told her I just showed him who you really were. She called me a few minutes later, audibly drunk, saying, "You know how triggering it was to find out you brought pills here?"
Why did you do this? You know better, right? Why?
Listen, I can understand like having an issue with, like, let's say your family are alcoholics or your family were addicts and you want to have kind of like a sober wedding. I can understand that completely. But the thing is like prescription medication is something that people often need to function, and the two things are not synonymous. It would be nice if they didn't need medication to function. I know a few people who sometimes I wonder if they would be better off without their prescription medication, but they've been on prescription medication for so long that like taking them off it anytime that they've tried has resulted in literally like a meltdown, like an absolute fucking meltdown. You can't just like stop your body from taking medication. You have to slowly wean yourself off of it under the supervision of a doctor, okay?
Time for a break.
So no, you can't just stop taking your pills because someone tells you not to. Like, this is something that has to be done in like a controlled environment. And what's more, I really fail to understand how you having an anxiety disorder affects her at all. I tried to reason with her, and this wasn't my fault, but she wouldn't budge on her judgment, so I told her maybe it's better if we aren't friends. Me and the groom are still good friends, but I haven't seen Kate in 2 years now. When I go through my pictures of all three of us together, I sometimes wish we could have worked things out. So am I the a-hole? So adding a few things, I want to address a few comments and clear some things up. First, they were officially married before the wedding. Secondly, I didn't take my medicine or leave to my car to take it in secret because a part of me wanted to show her what following her ridiculous rule did to me. Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Third, the reason why her rule extended from drugs to prescribed medicine was because a few members in her family faked illnesses to get prescription drugs. Okay, interesting. I can understand that there are people that abuse the system, and let's be honest, prescription medication I think is given out way too liberally in some places in the world.
Groovy, smashing, yay capitalism.
I think it's like it's up to OP when if she wants to go off of the prescription medication, and it's not up to anybody else. We knew each other since we were children, so I thought since she understood my condition was real, she would let me bring my prescribed medicine. I think that she genuinely should have discussed this with you beforehand if the pills and the drugs extended to the prescription pills, and then you could have chosen whether or not you wanted to do a speech under the guise of that information, under the understanding that you wouldn't have your prescription drugs. But I just really don't understand why she wants to die on this hill. Like, the two things are not synonymous. There are people that abuse prescription, but that doesn't mean that all people do. Any actual friend would have understood that a necessary prescribed medication is not. She set you up to fail and to have a panic attack, not the a-hole. I think it's a very controlling and bridezilla thing to do, quite frankly. It's not up to you. Precisely, would she demand a diabetic forego insulin, an older relative skip their blood pressure medicine, an asthma sufferer leave their inhaler at home? She was being ridiculous. She was. Your wedding must be really that perfect if you're looking for problems like this. Like, this didn't have to happen.
You did it. I didn't. You did it.
So are you the a-hole for leaving your best friend's wedding right before you were supposed to give a speech and texting her husband after the wedding, causing them to get a divorce? I mean, listen, you were a little petty. You were. But oftentimes I genuinely feel when you're marrying someone that you need to know the full picture, right? You need to know exactly what you're dealing with. And then that person can decide whether or not they want to be in your life, be in that person's life for the rest of their life. I think this is pretty important information.
This is way too much information.
I would want to know if Mike was going around telling, my friends with disorders that they weren't allowed to have their medication at my wedding. Like, I would want to know. I'm sure you didn't intend for them to get divorced, but he should know exactly what he's dealing with. So are you the a-hole? No, I don't think you are. I think that you took matters into your own hands. And if she hadn't behaved like an a-hole, you would have literally no reason to do what you did. Your actions were a reaction to her disrespect. Not the a-hole! R.I.P. your headphones. Am I the a-hole for telling my lifelong best friend to F off after making out with and grabbing my husband? I'm going to say grabbing, but in a way that YouTube will allow me to say it. So she didn't keep her hands to herself, if you know what I'm saying. Order in the court. I, 59 female, have been married to my husband, 51 male, let's call him Tom, for 14 years. I have been, quote, best friends, air quotes, with, let's call her Amber, 59 female, for more than 50 years. And her current husband, who I will call Frank, 59 male, for about 30 years. I do not know him well. For context, we grew up doing absolutely everything together, including family vacations.
So this is the second vacation that I've watched every Jurassic Park.
As young adults, life, marriage, and kids happen, and we only sporadically got together. Once kids were gone, we began hanging out more, and our relationship was like no time had passed. We typically hung out with our husbands at my house since mine is always gone, but periodically, we all four got together. The quote-unquote incident took place last summer when we got together with her and her husband at our house. My husband Tom was manning the grill, which was out by another structure and not close to the house. Everyone was having cocktails, sitting in lawn chairs, laughing, talking, and having a really fun time. I had way less to drink than anyone else, as I had been running back and forth to the house prepping the food, running items to and from the grill, and just getting things prepped to eat when the food was done. Tom, Frank, and Amber all stayed out by the grill, listening to music and talking while the grill was running. I joined between going back and forth. I'm not sure how much they drank, but they could still walk and talk, so it's not like anyone was passing out when Scheisse hit the fan. My final trip to the house was to carry a large platter containing all the food from the grill to the house, so plates could be made. I walked out my door to go get everyone when I heard Frank screaming and cursing at the top of his lungs. I'm like, what the hell? I go running toward the voice and find Amber bawling, Frank in a rage, literally saying, oh hell no, oh F no. And I immediately began asking what happened, what's wrong? He's throwing their stuff in their car, and I had a very difficult time getting him to even stop to tell me what happened. Apparently, as soon as I walked away with the food, Amber, who was sitting on a lawn chair by Tom, and Tom, my effing husband, began furiously making out and handsy each other, including hands in the clothes, the bottom half of the clothes.
You disgust me. Go on.
Do you guys love to watch me struggle trying to make this video monetizable? And there's also kids watching. Babies watch me, guys, so keep it PG. Okay, so they were for sure having an affair, because what in the actual fuck did they think they were doing? You were literally both at the house. Like, both the spouses were there. Frank wasn't that far away and he caught them. I don't know if I honestly wish I had caught them myself or not, because with Frank, no one got their ass beat. And if it had been me, there would have been ass beating until somebody physically made me stop. And yes, I do mean that. Now, my husband Tom drinks too much, so I'm sure this was no different. And because of this, I automatically blamed him for what happened. I mean, I wasn't thrilled with her. And don't ask me now why, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt.
Don't ever do that again.
I mean, they were furiously making out with hands going everywhere. Like, I feel like that was kind of mutual, no? If anyone tried to make out with me, like, oh my God, there's even this like, so Mike and I go to the same gym, and sometimes our like workouts overlap. And so I was like starting my workout. He had just finished his workout, and I felt this like presence behind me, and I couldn't tell that it was him. And the way that I jumped, like he grabbed me by the waist, and the way that I jumped, I flew like 5 feet. That should be your only reaction to being touched or kissed or attempted to kiss by somebody that is not your significant other. And And the fact that it wasn't, it means that they either were having an affair or they were planning on having an affair. I forced Tom to apologize a few days later and we moved on, or so I thought. Fast forward about 6 months later and I went through Tom's phone because things had been so bad. And I suspected he was cheating or had cheated. Not with Amber, as I found out where he had been going to another house months on end, roughly the same time of day each time he went. That's an entire other story. When I was going through his phone, I found correspondence between him and Amber talking about me, and not in a flattering way. Basically insinuating how stupid I was for the purchase I had made, with my own money, that Amber thought was cool and supported to my fiance. And other similar things, putting me down and telling him how she was there for him anytime, blah blah blah. Oh, she want your husband, girl. She wants your husband. No idea if they got together for any talks or not. I was so shocked and hurt, I was dumbfounded. I sat on it for a few days because of how hurt I was. And the more I thought, the more I saw red. I made the decision to send her all the screenshots I had taken of everything that was said about me so she couldn't deny it. And I sent them to her along with what I had to say to her. Also, for context. I should say that Amber and Frank struggle financially, and the last few years, anytime she's asked, I loaned her money, provided food, gas, and their cigarettes. I don't even smoke, and anything I could do to help them, oh hell no. This is the thing about like helping your friends. Like, I love to help my friends. I genuinely do. But sometimes I feel that helping your friends, especially financially, leads to like resentment. Like they resent you. And I know this firsthand because I actually helped a friend when she was, just got out of the hospital, couldn't work, and she asked me to send her money, and I did. And then, she was in like a very bad situation, and she would only ever reach out to me when she was in this bad situation, or she wanted attention, or she wanted something.
Pay attention to me, I'm bored.
Eventually, I kind of just stopped responding because I just kind of felt like, I don't know, like the friendship was a little one-sided. And then she went on social media and posted nasty things about me, lied about me, like said nasty things about my family.
I don't have friends, I got family.
It was like, wow, I was like, if I read her messages, she said that like I was the one thing that helped her get through her rough patch. Like if I hadn't helped her, she would have like essentially lost everything. She would have had to like, move out of her place. She couldn't afford rent. The fact that I helped her in her time of need and she still found it in her to go online and say terrible things about me, it really hurt. Like that hurt my feelings. And I'm pretty sure she watches this channel. And if you're watching, babe, like that sucked.
Stupid bitch!
And it makes me like hesitant to help anyone. Like it really makes me very hesitant to, like I want to help. Like my first instinct is always to help, but then it kind of comes back to like bite me in the ass, I
had a very traumatic childhood.
To that point, it's kind of like, wow, like you helped her a lot and she still had the audacity to like not only talk badly about you, but want your husband. Like that's crazy.
Don't you know I'm loco?
And by loaned, I mean, no one ever paid me back. Come to think of it, my food containers weren't returned either for the items I had prepared. I sent tons of canned goods too. So I told her how I hadn't done anything but help them as much as I could, and how sick it made me and how hurt I was by her not only talking so bad about me, but saying those things to my husband. And she basically really called me stupid and told my husband how wrong I was for making that purchase and how she knew I way overspent for that item. Yeah, because she wants you to give her the money instead.
This is the worst.
And the more I typed, the madder I got, and all at once it hit me like a crack upside my head. Yep, here's your sign. She wasn't the victim in that tongue down the throat session with my husband. She was an equal participant. Yeah, she wants what you have, baby. She wants what you have, baby girl. I obviously can't prove this because, again, I didn't see it or catch them, but I just suddenly felt it so strongly after seeing how they talked about me. I feel like she's trying to be like an
Emotional support.
or like make your husband not love you as much because she wants to swoop on in there. I told her to F right off, out of my life for good, and never come back, and that I was effing done with them. Except I use all the bad words, and I use them a lot. So, am I the a-hole for telling my lifelong best friend to F off, among other things, or should I have given her a chance to explain? I think that you need to trust your intuition, babes.
People don't have to say it. They can feel it.
I think that pattern recognition is an important thing. Like, I think that Some people are better at pattern recognition than others. And I think that what happened when you realized that she was not the victim was you recognized a pattern there. You recognize that this person resented you for, giving them money, resented you for the fact that you could buy anything you wanted, and was talking badly about you to your husband. For what end, we don't know. But like regardless of whether or not she was the victim, she can all the way off for how she talked about you, and then was in the meantime asking for more money and help from you, all the way off. Like literally go suck an egg.
You suck!
I'm projecting, I am. But you get what I mean. Of all the people to do this to, someone who helped you, that's not a friend.
I don't like you.
Also, you should know she's never tried to explain, and it's now April. I've never heard from them again. My marriage was never problem-free, mostly because of his drinking. I've had a lawyer retained for a while now, but I haven't filed. Yeah, I was also gonna say that your husband is also at fault here. Like, let's not forget that. And you guys caught him cheating, like with your best friend.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
If anyone has any advice, I would love to hear it. This to me was the ultimate betrayal of the two people I've never in a million years would believe would do this to me together. There are some people who are willing to forgive cheating. I'm not one of those people. There are some people who are willing to forgive betrayal. I am not one of those people, especially when it comes to betrayal by someone who you went out of your way to help. You're blocked. You're done. If it were me in this situation, I would absolutely file for divorce. It's not my marriage though, and you need to decide what is best for you. I just don't really think that you'd be able to look at him the same way again. Like if you stayed with him, I just feel like the resentment would always be there. You are surrounded by horrible people. Drop them all, divorce and block all of them, period. Keep the money to yourself. Immediately go get the advice of a divorce attorney. If you have proof of all the money she borrowed and her supposed intent to pay you back, I might also suggest small claims, depending on the amount. Oh, that's interesting. Can I do that? Well, no, the money I gave was a gift. Absolutely did not intend to ever be paid back. So I wish I could ask for the money back. I think it sounds like everybody in the comments also thinks divorce. All right, so OP has updated in the comments saying that she is gonna file for divorce. Let's not judge her in this situation, guys. I think she already has enough problems to deal with.
I got a lot going on in my life right now.
On that note, I fully support you if you do want to divorce this person, and I genuinely think that you should never talk to that friend again. You are not the a-hole. If anyone's the a-hole, it's her. She showed her true colors. You are not the a-hole. This is cat.